Work to rebuild a house in South Yorkshire where 2 boys were killed in a fire last year has finally begun. Jack and Paul Sykes died when their father deliberately set fire to it. The mother was unable to claim for the damage because the blaze was started on purpose, as Kathy Booth now reports.
A burnt-out shell filled with the most traumatic memories. Last October, 44-year-old Darren Sykes bought his sons, 12-year-old Jack and 9-year-old Paul, a new train set. As they played with it upstairs in this house in Penistone, he set the building on fire. Darren and Paul were killed in the blaze. Jack died in hospital 6 days later. The community in Penistone rallied when it was revealed that the insurance wouldn't pay for the fire damage. Fundraising began, and now the boys' mother, Claire Throssell, has enough money to begin repair work so the house can eventually be sold.
There isn't enough words to say thank you, but I really appreciate what they've done and the support that they've given, and as I say, the amazing people that I've met on the way. I wish they could have met my boys because they were such wonderful boys.
Claire now plans to begin a new charity in memory of Jack and Paul.
I'm keeping going to build a legacy for those 2 boys. They deserve it for who they were, and they were the best part of me. They had talents that I don't have, and they were destined to be wonderful people, and they didn't get that chance.
Kathy Booth, BBC Look North, Penistone.
Wonderful support from the community there in sport.
But we'll begin this morning with the news of Claire Throssell. Last October, Claire, who's from Penistone, you'll remember, faced the most tragic news a mum could hear. Her 2 sons, Jack, who was 12, and Paul, who was 9, died in a house fire. It was one caused by their father. The house was destroyed, and with it, essentially, Claire's home. A coroner ruled the deaths were an unlawful killing. And with the help of the vicar of Penistone, the Reverend David Hopkin, and her friends, Claire launched an appeal to rebuild that devastated house so that she can then sell it and buy a new home. Not surprisingly, she wouldn't want to live in it. This week, a special fundraiser took place for that appeal. It happened at the Hoiday Inn in Barnsley. 200 people gathered to support what was called the Care for Claire appeal. Barnsley singer-songwriter Dave Cherry, who's raised more than £50,000 for Barnsley Hospice and other causes, organised an event in aid of the appeal. It raised more than £2,000. And there, among the people, was our reporter, Andy Kershaw.
Well, around 170 people have gathered here at the Hoiday Inn in Barnsley to support the Care for Claire appeal. It's a fantastic turnout, and there's so much warmth and love for Claire in this room. Dave Cherry is the organiser. How pleased are you, Dave, with the turnout?
I'm very pleased, Andy, because, as you know, there's a big football match on in town tonight, the England under-21s international, so I'm competing with them. I think we've done really well, yeah. It's house full. You know.
And will you just explain what's happening? We've got some screens at either end of the room, and people have just had chip butties.
Yeah.
And now they're just chatting and watching old films, aren't they?
Yeah, it's my old cine films, Andy, what I've collated, what I've collected over the years, homemade movies, and you know, it's what people's donated. It's fascinating footage, if you like. I had to do something. In a minute, I'm going to sing as well, so I just want to raise a few quid for Claire here. You know,
David's done a fantastic job. The Reverend David Hopkin is here from St John's Church in Penistone. You and I both spoke at the beginning of the event. What do you think to the outpouring of support for Claire here?
I think it's just great. Yeah, it's been a great evening. A very special evening, which we'll remember for a long time to come.
And the noise we can hear in the background are the old movies. What a great idea to get people together and get people talking, not to sit stiffly just watching films, but to mingle and to interact. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the chip butties made it, although there was no butter on the bread.
And how is the Care for Claire campaign going?
It's going all right. I've just spoken to the guy that's involved in project managing the property on Tennyson Close, and all the tradespeople, it seems that we've got everybody together and most things are in place now. So it's really great news. Yeah.
And Claire's here. What do you think to all these lovely people coming here to support you?
It's just amazing. I mean, the people are just awesome. It's just been an amazing night, and I just can't believe so many people are carrying that love for my boys.
Yeah.
Hearing them earlier on and seeing them, it's keeping their memory alive, and they were the best part of me. They were my other half, my life, and it's lovely that people loved them for who they were.
Did you think I was a bit balmy putting you in touch with Dave Cherry?
I wonder what you threw me into. But no, he's been wonderful, and he's actually made a proper tribute to the boys, one that'll be remembered forever. And he's put so much work into this, and the pictures that he's done is a true artist.
And we said at the beginning of, or you said at the beginning of your appeal, that it was about 70,000. Where are you now? How much have you raised now?
In terms of monetary, we've not got a great deal. There's about 8,000 or something. But the tradespeople that have offered their services, that's worth actually a lot of money.
So you've got to the value of something like 30
so
of you in kind.
We will have more or less got there. In terms of the tradespeople who have offered their services, and that's worth a lot of money.
So have workmen started on the house already then?
Already, and the windows have all just been made ready to go in.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that have been free of charge, which were indebted really to the tradespeople.
Crikey, when did they all come out of the woodwork then, just as a result of the publicity?
Yeah, they've appeared really through the result of the publicity. So we've had offer of trades rather than offer of money in a sense, although we've got some money to be able to fall back on to do odds and ends, like carpets and skirting boards and things like that.
Claire, have you been able to go back to the house yet and have a look or not?
No.
That day will come when the house is renovated, won't it?
Yes, it will.
What other things are going on? Because I know you've got a concert organised later on in the year, haven't you? Tell us about that.
Yes, I've got a concert organised for the 24th of October, and there's going to be a ladies' choir there, there's going to be Jack's bands where he played his trumpet, there's going to be the school choir that Paul sang in, and hopefully everything raised will go to Bluebell Wood, and we'll launch our charity Heads Together in October.
And have people been sort of offering to do what Dave Cherry's done tonight, to organise events for you and for the appeal?
Yeah, I think there are various events. I think there's a business breakfast thing being organised as well. So, and as Claire's just said about the concert, but there will be other things. There will be other things.
Keep us in touch with it, won't you? Absolutely. Lovely to see you both.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And can I just say that Dave Cherry is absolutely amazing. It's been a privilege to meet
bonkers, him.
No, it's been a privilege to meet him, and he's worked very hard for this, and I think he should, rightly so, take credit.
There you go, Dave. You've done well.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Claire.
That's the Barnsley singer-songwriter Dave Cherry ending that report by Andy Kershaw at the night to raise money for the Care for Claire appeal for Claire Throssell, who wants to sort that house out so that she can sell it and I was going to say move on. How glib does that sound? She's lost her two boys. They were 12 and 9. Moving on is not something that's going to happen very speedily for her, but with the support of the community that she clearly has there, let's hope that things begin to improve for her very slowly. I mean, I thought when she was chatting to Andy there that going back to the house is going to be very difficult, if it happens at all, but that will be for Claire to decide nearer the time. You're listening to BBC Radio Sheffield. Good morning, I'm Andy Crane. It's very nearly 20 past 7.
What can I do to help Claire with this fantastic appeal to raise £70,000 to rebuild this house? Who can I ask? Who's the go-to man in Barnsley that knows everybody, that can blag anything from anybody at any time? And of course that man is Mr. Barnsley himself, Dave Cherry, and I think he's done us proud tonight, hasn't he? Absolutely done us proud. I won't bore you with a long and tedious speech, but other than to say that I've had a long career as a BBC reporter, but in all the years I've been reporting for BBC Sheffield, no story has ever touched me like that of Jack and Paul and the tragic death. I was the BBC's early reporter that morning, before all the media scrum and the national media and the network got to the scene, and I was sent at 5:30 in the morning after we got the call from the fire brigade. I was sent to Barnsley, not knowing where I was going to come and see him in Penistone, and I was there when the fire brigade were dampening down and the flames, the smoke was still smouldering from the house, the scene of that, the tragic death of Jack and Paul, and it profoundly, as a father and a grandfather, I'm sure as it did you, it shocked me to the core. And fast forward to the day when Jack and Paul's funeral was held in Penistone, and the whole community of Penistone and the school and all of Claire's friends and Jack and Paul's family turned out. It was, again, we try to be dispassionate as reporters and journalists, but that day I just wept, absolutely wept in that churchyard. And I knew from that day to then that we must do something to help Claire. When we heard that she'd lost everything, there was no insurance, there was no way that that house could be rebuilt, that something had to be done. And when Martin Scotland and the fantastic team at St John's at Penistone launched this appeal with Claire, I knew that the BBC had to get behind it, we had to get behind it, we had to find someone who'd work with us, and that person was Dave Cherry. And I'll tell you what, when Claire and Dave came in on Ronnie Robinson's show a few weeks ago, I don't know whether you heard it, but it was, Ronnie Robinson was moved to tears, and there's a man that's not often moved to tears by Claire's story and the huge generosity of heart of Dave Cherry. So, and thank you to you and to the community of Barnsley and to Penistone. This story touched not just South Yorkshire, but I think the whole country. And let's hope we can help Claire and we can reach that target. And of course tonight is just part of that. So thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here, and it's lovely to meet you. You'll get your shirt back later, okay?
Yes, thank you. Put your hands together, please. We're standing Kershaw.